What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, ES, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to talk about some very important levels to watch for and how the market's looking and what could end up panning out as time goes on. But just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, when it comes to the market, as you guys can see, SPY is dipping a little bit more. We did touch the 558 area as I predicted yesterday, but notice that we're at this very, very important support at our 20 EMA. The green line you see right over here. The last time SPY hit this, we saw a nice rebound. So we're touching it again when we watch to see if we get some kind of bounce by tomorrow or not. And so far, it's our critical support. So what's happening with the markets? The answer is that today is Tuesday, August 27th, 2024. And basically, there wasn't really much data that came out in the morning, but for today at 10 o'clock a.m., in the consumer confidence report, we had the Richmond Fed manufacturing numbers and manufacturing shipments. All this data will be coming out 30 minutes after the market ends up opening. And then 1 hour after open at 10:30 a.m., we also have the Dallas Fed Services and Services Revenues reports. So look for some volatility today at 10 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see how this ends up affecting the markets. Now, when it comes to other factors, I just want to mention that we also have Nvidia announcing its earnings on Wednesday. So this is going to be very, very important. Whatever they announce could cause some volatility, at least for the broader markets. And then when it comes to other factors out there, Aapl just announced a new CFO. So that's very good news for them. And then I didn't see anything else that was too crazy. We're starting to see some new news coming out about how a very, very important executive has dropped their bid to buy Paramount. I'm seeing this making some headlines, but nothing else is too crazy, at least thus far. So what do I see for the markets? As of right now, we've been dipping a bit, but we're at some key support on SPY right now. So it's very close to about 559. That's where our 20 EMA happens to be. It is possible we dip below it, of course, right? This happened before, but then by the time we got to the after hours, there were times where we just got bought back up. So the question is, will we close below this support? And if we close below this for 2 sessions, that's going to be a sign of weakness. So far, we haven't closed below it yet. We have to give it some time to confirm if we're losing the support or not. And we're at some critical support right now. So what I predict is going to happen is this. We have resistance to watch for it near 560. Our support is currently at 559. We could lose this again closer to 558. If we lose 558, we'll be looking for 556 to 555. And we'll be watching to see if we can try to hold above this support or not. Because so far it's looking a little bit weak and we may temporarily lose it. We'll see if we close below this, but I'm just wanted to say that we're seeing some signs of weakness on SPY thus far, especially as we're making like this lower high right here. So if we break above 560, we will turn back up to 562. And if we lose 558, we're going to be looking for a dip. This chart is favoring the downside just a little bit more. I think we're going to be looking for 558 flat. If that fails, we'll be dipping even more. So we still look a little bit more bearish to me. Now, once again, even if we are temporarily bearish, it does not mean we're going to crash forever because it depends on Nvidia's earnings for tomorrow and other factors like that. But for now, the chart's looking a little bit weaker. For Nvidia is dipping a little bit. So we have support to watch for around this 124.6 area, around that zone. If we lose that, so we'll be looking for the 122 zone as well below that. So we have 122.5 to 123, that range right over there. That's going to be our next support. If we lose 122.5, there's going to be a bigger dump coming all the way down to 120. We have resistance all the way up towards 126.5. That's going to be our very close to our 20 EMA. If that breaks, we're going to be looking for basically 128. Now, the range we're in is taking us back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I do see a risk of us dipping a little bit lower if we don't hold this support. But if anything, let me just say that so far, Nvidia is range bound, right? If we end up losing 122, then we're going to turn bearish. But we're not really doing that. We're still in this range. So we're going to likely continue to be in this range for the time being, in my opinion. For ES, we're dipping a little bit. We're losing 5620. We're at risk of coming all the way down to about 5600. And this could lead to more downside on SPY, especially as we approach our 50 EMA. So I presume we're going to be dipping closer to 5600. We have resistance at 5630, but this is favoring downside as we had this high here, came down, made a lower high. So that's going to be very key for us. For Bitcoin, We're going to be looking at support at 62,200. This is our 50 EMA, and we have resistance at 63,000. It's favoring the downside, but if we lose this support, then there's going to be a bigger dip coming. So I'll be watching this very, very carefully. There is a risk of some more downside on Bitcoin, in my opinion. For NQ is looking more bearish. We had a high here, it came down, making lower highs and lower lows. So it's still looking bearish. The level I called out yesterday is playing out as we lost our 50 EMA. If we have this key support now at 19,400, that's our last main support. I think if we lose that, then this imbalance is going to take us all the way down to the low 19,000s. So we look more bearish on NQ. The QQQ also looks more bearish, but we have the support to watch for at 472. So even though we are declining on the QQQ, we haven't lost critical support yet. If we lose 472, I think then we're going to be dipping much lower, all the way down to like 468, 464, and beyond. If we hold above 475, we could try to rebound, but this looks a little bit more bearish with this head and shoulders like structure. Just want to call that out. It still looks more bearish. Apple's just range bound. It's going to likely remain range bound, in my opinion. Stuck between 228 and 223.8. It's going to just continue to trade sideways. Might dip a little bit as we get closer to the 224 area, but it's still range bound. The IWM is dipping a little bit. I presume it's going to get very close to about the 217.5 area, and we'll see if it bounces off that or not. But this might dip a little bit more looking at the current technicals, so I just want to call that out. Amazon, we're starting to lose 175. I think that there's a risk of it dipping lower down towards 172. Looking at technicals, looks a little bit more bearish. Unless we reclaim 177, we are favoring downside. Meta is also favoring downside unless we reclaim 521. So if we reclaim 521, we could try to bounce for 525. If we don't reclaim those levels, we're going to be looking for a dip to 515, then all the way down to about 508 we're going to go. For Microsoft, we're also dipping a little bit. We have this resistance up here. If we break past 416, we could try to rebound. Otherwise, we're at risk of dipping. And there's going to be a risk of us coming all the way down towards 408. For Google, we look a little bit more bearish. We're basically going to be looking at 166. We could dip towards this and start dipping lower. If we hold this, we could rebound for 168, but this is favoring downside for 166, and we'll see what the move happens to be like. So with that being said, as far as the market goes, we are seeing some signs of declines, especially as we're starting to see a big shift in these technicals. The dollar is flat alongside other factors. The VIX, we're going to be watching to see if this is about to form a head and shoulders or not, or if we're about to get a breakout. At this point, I'm going to be watching to see if the VIX gets above 17.34. This is a sign the market's going to decline more. If we form a right shoulder and start dipping again, Nvidia could cause a bounce. I don't know for sure which one it's going to be, but for now, let's not worry about the VIX. We're just going to focus on the charts, and the market's declining a bit to support. We'll see if these supports break and if the bearish signals end up panning out. So that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you guys very soon in a couple of hours for another update, and peace out.